I would like to turn now to the section of Lake Merritt that Rotary Nature Center Friends has begun to work in as an adopt-a-spot.
Well, that's just the map from what, 1856?
I think so, yeah.
That shows the original marsh. My name is Reed Dillingham. I'm a landscape architect, and I and my office worked on the restoration of the shore near the Sailboat House, between the Junior Center on the north and the end of the Sailboat House on the south. And it was a long process. We started, I think, in maybe the summer of 2011, might have been even earlier than that. And there were a lot of discussions, there was early studies of designs. One of the things that was an early thought was to have a marsh with a boardwalk. That got taken out of the project at some point, maybe because of cost. I think in actuality it was a great thing not to have done that, because it kind of gives the marsh its own due without covering over a lot of it with the boardwalk. But one of the questions that we have to think about when we're talking about the marsh and so-called natural areas is what is nature really? You know, are we talking about nature before humans were here at all? Are we talking about it when native Californians were here, or when people from Europe came? There's a lot of different standards there. Even the Native Americans modified the landscape significantly through burning and through favoring certain kinds of plants for crop use, etc. So this is really an approximation of what might have been natural originally. So we've used native plants, which we find in other areas of the state, and we try to regenerate those to create what is the appearance of a natural landscape, or in this case, a marsh. Whether this is accurate as to what would have been here when people first settled in Oakland in the 1850s or not, I can't be sure. We don't know. We do have some old photographs, I think from later on in the 19th century, but maybe not in the as early as 1850s. Photography was not widely available at that time. So what we have here is an approximation of a natural system that we've initiated, and hopefully it will be self-sustaining. But we've had to make certain adjustments, such as some irrigation, for example, to maintain that natural system, which would not have been necessary originally, but may be necessary now. So each of these areas, when I say each, I mean the two marsh areas here, are a bit of an experiment to see what we can do, how we can support them, how we can recreate them. They are, in some ways, a display of what nature might have been. So this area was set up mostly for classes. So if you look at it, there's a couple of sort of circles here of stones where a teacher could set up and have students sit on the stones. And then, of course, we have a stone edge beyond that, which is easier for students then to be able to get water samples from the lake. They don't have to get their feet muddy and so on.
You did great. This is, it's
Well, this is the other marsh that was done at the same time that the first one was that we looked at, the larger one. And it's a good example of what we can expect the other one to probably eventually develop into. So we have a nice hierarchy of plants, you know, going from the lakeside up through the mud, through the lower plants, the pickleweed and so on, up into the native plants at the edge. I think this kind of expresses the hope that we had for the marsh, that it really at least creates the appearance of a natural marsh. It may not be entirely natural, but it gives you that sense of it. And so that's good.
So I wanted to share with you that this project was a Project of the Year, got a design award, and it's our adopt-a-spot at Lake Merritt, where we are working with Public Works and with many of the people listed there to steward the particular area, but Charlie, the Save the Bays curriculum, bringing kids and people out to take care of marshlands and wildlands in their areas is the model. Always it's been an inspiration to see what Save the Bay has offered, and we're really excited about what we have here in Oakland to offer to people in the same vein.